Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. We are here for some recap of Matchday 1 of our group stage action. If you want to hear what we think about gonna happen in these matches coming up here for Matchday 2, go ahead and check out this episode right here, maybe, or maybe over here. Yes, over here is where it is.
Somewhere. It's going to be somewhere.
It's going to be somewhere, and it's going to be so spectacular. Oh, boy, wow, howdy. Anyways, this is recap of Matchday 1. We'll start off at the top, where I was wrong and you were right. Germany does defeat Scotland rather soundly at 5-1. Extenuating circumstances. An early red card. It was a 45th minute red or something like that. Let me get that pulled back up here.
Yeah, 45th minute red.
Yeah. And up until that point, 44th minute technically, up until that point, well, things hadn't been going well for Scotland. Anyway, they're already down 3-0. So it wasn't, and the only goal that Scotland got, it was an own goal from Rudiger. So Germany is looking like they're going to be fine. Like I said in the previous episode, making me look rather foolish in my prediction of them fading away into the sunset. And we'll see if anybody can stop them.
Yeah, Germany did this. They had some big names, but honestly, they didn't play a couple of people I thought they would. They didn't play Mueller. They didn't play Fulkrug. They didn't play Sane. At least they didn't start them.
Right.
And then in the second half, you see those guys get on like Emre Can, Fulkrug getting goals. But yeah, the red card was just kind of insult to injury. It was already, I think the red card spurned the penalty, so it became 3-0. But yeah, I mean, Germany looked good. Their midfield is a great mixture of young and old. They looked very fluid. They looked like a team again. We kind of saw them in the World Cup, not really looking like a team. So good to see them humming. Not good for Scotland to see them humming. It felt like from the get-go, Scotland realized that they were taking on a giant.
Yeah.
And they were not prepared for it.
Yeah, and it definitely does not bode well for my pick of them going through to the next round. We can basically write them off at this point. Not totally, but after my prediction of them losing to Switzerland 2-0 goes through, we can write them off fully.
Yeah.
Speaking of Switzerland, they got into the action on Saturday, facing off against Hungary, and really taking care of business against Hungary. 3-1 victory for Hungary. With those goals coming from Dua, Ebsher, and Mbolo, respectively, and really had the match in hand for the most part. I mean, Hungary got their goal in the 66th, but they were able to bounce back and finish it off there late with that 90+3. A good look for Switzerland. I mean, promising for them to move through into the next round for sure, into the knockouts.
Yeah, Hungary has some guys that can really play. They have a really solid goalie, couple of solid defenders. But again, they're kind of that smaller team that hasn't been on these stages in a while. Mm-hmm. And so when you have a handful of really good guys, kind of like you see on Poland, they're going to play well, but they're not necessarily going to be cohesive as a unit because there's just a gap in the talent. And I feel like Switzerland does a really good job of staying cohesive as a team, even though some guys may be better than the others. It feels really fluid. Like they felt like a really good team. They didn't dominate possession like I thought they would, but they still got it done. Hungary, after the 66th minute goal, I thought they were going to make a comeback. It felt like they were, but Switzerland, kudos to them for holding them off, getting a final goal. So I was impressed with Switzerland. They seem to be kind of in the same vein as Denmark. Both teams are not huge markets, but they're starting to find that talent and that experience that they need to do well at these tournaments. So I'm excited to see what they do next. I think I predicted them to draw in the next match day. But either way, I think they'll be fine. Ultimately, I think they'll probably go through.
Yeah, looking definitely good for them to go through there. Then to our other Saturday matches, which were both Group B, Spain takes care of Croatia 3-0. And like we said in the previous one, it was not even close. I mean, Spain takes care of it all in the first half. and then just kind of coasts through to the final victory there in the second half with a missed penalty, adding insult to injury for Croatia. Wait, I can't remember. Was that missed or saved by Petkovic? I think it was saved, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Unconverted for sure.
This was kind of a weird lineup for Spain. I feel like they played a lot younger than I thought they were going to, but it worked out. I mean, they had Carvajal and Morata, who are a little older, but pretty much everyone else is fairly young. And Croatia, it just looks like they bit off more than they could chew. Like, Modric is showing his age. I think people want to deny that he is, but even at Real Madrid, he did not feature really at all in that Champions League final. So he's showing his age. But, I mean, they're still a good team. I think they just really got caught off guard and hopefully can bounce back. But, I don't know. Spain is looking really good, and they have a really good-looking bench. So, I mean, they look hungry, which is very different than some of the other big teams we've seen that have the talent, but they just don't look like they want to be here.
Yeah, we'll get to one of them here shortly, but before we do, we'll go to the other Group B match, which was Italy and Albania. We apologized in our previous episode to Italy, so we're not going to do it here. You can watch that here, whatever. Anyway, they survived the early scare against Albania. The first minute goal by Albania, coming back in quick succession there with the 11th and 16th to go up 2-1. And then from there, they were able to settle in and put control over the match without too much further issue.
Yeah, maybe Coffee with a Kick will put out an official statement at some point to the nation of Italy. But as far as the match goes, 16 minutes of just pure ecstasy of soccer fandom. Looked like it was going to be like 7-3. It was looking fun. And then Italy took the lead and they said, we're going to play like we play. And it was just a lot of defense, a lot of possession. Albania didn't even get another shot on target the rest of the match. So Italy played their brand after the 16th minute. Yeah. Before then, terrible mistake by the defender and really by the goalkeeper. But, it happens. And I'm happy they bounced back the way they did. Because sometimes these teams, first match, first minute goal, you kind of get flustered, unsettled. It could go wrong pretty quick. But kudos to them for really coming together as a team, playing their brand of soccer. And, I mean, they got the win. So that's what matters.
That's, in the end, the points are the points, right? You always take the points when you can get them. Then we move to our matches from Sunday, which were Group D and the whole of Group C. Poland and the Netherlands. First off, I've been forgetting to say if we got these right or wrong. We split Germany and Scotland. We both got Switzerland and Hungary right. We both got Spain and Croatia wrong because we both picked a draw there. Both got Italy and Albania right. Speaking of another one we got right, Poland and the Netherlands. We both got this one right with a 2-1 victory going Netherlands' way. How did you like this one going off here with Gakpo getting man of the match and looking pretty good?
Yeah, I thought Poland, they played the way they wanted to play in the beginning. They may not have had all the possession, but it seemed like their goal was to play physical. And that first goal off the corner really showed their physicality of just, we're going to move bodies out of the way. We're going to let our guys do what they need to do. And they score off a header. But I feel like they just didn't have the defensive tenacity that they needed to keep them out. But yeah, Gakpo, he played great. This was a weird one because Netherlands had a lot of shots, but not a lot of quality shots.
Yeah.
And we'll see that in other matches too. That idea of really Poland, if we're going based on chances, should have run away with this one.
Yeah. 7-4, the breakdown. 7 for Poland, only 4 for the Netherlands. So just more efficient in the end.
Yeah, Poland ought to have done more than not get any points, but
for sure.
Netherlands, they grinded it out. Weghorst got that goal at the end. So I think ultimately the Dutch are feeling pretty good because Poland's a hard team to beat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was certainly an interesting match because of that strange disparity where Netherlands had the possession. If you look at one set of stats, you're like, oh, Netherlands kind of ran away with this thing. But if you look at another set, Poland was more efficient in that regard. But in the end, it kind of broke down to this rather entertaining match. It wasn't quite the 3-2 that I had hoped, but the 2-1 still got a lot of business done in the end. Then to our Group C matches. There's my page. There we are. Slovenia and Denmark. A 1-1 draw here between Slovenia and Denmark. And I don't have a lot to report about this one. Denmark got the early goal in the 17th and then ended up giving it up with I'm not sure how they would say this, Jan's 77th minute goal, which Christian Eriksen did get man of the match, partially just for, making it through, which is good for him. But they didn't quite get the 3 points that you would want in his match back.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Eriksen not only be back, but also score.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Denmark, kind of like Poland, like they just could not hold them off. Even though this match, similarly to Poland, except Denmark had the possession,
right,
and had the shot disparity, and looked like the better team, but I don't know what happened there in the 77th minute, but I mean, that short defensive lapse always gets these kind of teams. I think they'll bounce back, but tough for them to not get the full 3 points. For
sure. Especially when they still have to deal with England here in this next match day, which I don't think will go particularly well. I'm not going to say it again. But Denmark and Slovenia only get the 1 point there. England managed to squeak out their 3 points against Serbia, with Jude Bellingham getting his goal there in the 13th. And then they managed, not by a lot, but they managed to end up winning this match. Tight breakdown on possession, and even the shots, not a lot of good quality shots for either side, to be honest, in this one. It was not a very good match to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, this one, I don't have a ton to say about it, but I mean, you can look at the stats. Like 1-0, pretty even possession, only 4 total shots on target. Not one that, unless you're passionate about either of these teams, would I watch the recap video. But England, they got it done. They proved that they can get an early goal, keep the lead throughout the entire match. So I think that'll give them some confidence. But again, they just kind of looked like they were missing a couple of pieces that were left at home. But we'll see. Match week 2 is coming up. But yeah, this one, 1-0 is good enough for 3. So
are you saying they could have maybe used I don't know, some electricity there on the left hand side of the pitch? Maybe the guy who wears his hair long and his socks low and bandanas. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, no one comes to mind. But
no one immediately comes to mind that could fill that sort of void that they were having.
Who knows?
Who knows? But we'll go to one of the shock matches. This day was shocking in general, really. Yes. For Monday, Romania 3-0 victory over Ukraine. Neither of us saw this one coming. We both thought it would either be a win or a draw. We both got. You did think that England would draw. I thought they would win, so that's good. We both missed the Slovenia Denmark one. But yeah, neither of us had Romania even scoring, I don't think. Yeah, we both had... Oh, I did have Romania scoring once, but still, did not see a 3-0 drubbing of Ukraine in the works here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a thorough beating. This really felt like when... I forget which match it was in the Premier League, but it was either West Ham or Crystal Palace won a game 3 or 4-0. And they only had possession 22% of the time.
Yeah.
But their entire game plan was let them have the ball, trap them in the final third, counterattack. And it worked perfectly for Romania. And Ukraine just could not figure out how to get through that threshold of the final third. They couldn't do anything. A lot of errant shots. So Romania had a great game plan, and I think that's why they won 3-0, and they executed it really well.
Great plan, and their first goal was a cracker there by Stanshu. A one hit, just played in from the outside to him, and he takes on the first touch and just hammers it upper 9 across the face of goal. We actually had, I think the stat was 11 of the 34 goals in the matches so far have been from outside the box. Like we had one really good one here. There were 2 in the Turkey match that we'll get to in just a minute that were really like top quality goals. I mean, so far production has not been lacking in this Euro for sure. To a match where production was indeed lacking, the other shock result, Belgium falls to Slovakia 1-0. Belgium not looking focused in this one. They lose. It was like it was a late goal. They got scored on the 7th minute, and then they just couldn't figure it out the rest of the time. It was somewhat embarrassing against Slovakia, who is not. I mean, they're the worst ranked team in the group.
Yeah, Slovakia must have watched what England did in their match and then just copied it, because that's what it felt like. Early goal. Really just kind of let Belgium get the ball a little bit. But, they also had Romania's game plan, swarm when they get into the box. Don't let them put in crosses from the side. And, yeah, it just felt like, especially Lukaku missing an equalizer there late. They just looked lazy. They looked like they weren't ready for the Euro 2024. This is kind of the last big tournament for this golden generation. Maybe the World Cup, but all of them are entering their mid-30s. Eden Hazard is already retired. So they just kind of look like the team that you really wish would have accomplished something. And now they're the old men trying to do it, and it's just not working out. So who knows what the second match day will bring, but this one, kudos to Slovakia. They held them off and played really solid defense for 83-plus minutes.
Yeah, and we'll see if they might be able to make through at this point. If they can get, depending on how this match goes against Ukraine, but Ukraine's also got their back against a wall because of that loss to Romania. And then to the other Group D match, France, somewhat similarly to England, ekes one out here against Austria, with Kylian Mbappe getting his face straight up smashed. His nose was very broken, if you did not see that. But even the goal that they got wasn't even their own. It was an own goal by Weber. I think that's how you probably say his name. And they were even outpossessed by Austria. I mean, it was did not instill confidence in a team that's ranked number 2 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this France team, it was a strange one. I feel like there were guys on their bench that have the experience that they did not play, and they played guys who don't have any experience, and it showed. William Saliba, had Conte not been there to save him multiple times, it could have been really bad for him. So it just looked like they weren't, again, kind of like Belgium, they weren't ready for it. Mm-hmm. They got the win, obviously, but I feel like Austria was the better team.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like I already said in the predictions episode, I think Austria-Poland might be the most exciting match coming up. Mm-hmm. So who knows? But recap, France, they got 3, kind of like England, kind of like all these teams. They don't really care at the end of the day. They got 3.
They got the points, and they'll go on to the next one, just with a masked, and not in the way that we think about it. He has like a Batman mask is probably what it'll end up looking like for Mbappe going forward. We'll see if he can bounce back as well. Then to our matches from Tuesday, Turkey and Georgia. 3-1 victory for Turkey, which neither of us had. But really, it was a really good match, surprisingly, from two teams. I mean, it's two teams that are probably weren't expecting to be here exactly. But they really put on a show. Georgia was in it till the very end. I mean, it was really a 2-1 match. And just what happened is that Georgia got caught out on a late game corner kick where their goalkeeper was down in the box. They didn't convert. Turkey got a bust away easy goal, and it was unfortunate for them. But Turkey looked pretty good actually, and two of their goals were actually very nice outside of the box shots and goals. With one of them being a really nice far post curler. That was a stunning goal, and probably might be the goal of at least the group stage, depending on how the rest of these shake out. But yeah, there's that stat I was saying. 11 of 34 goals have been from outside the box so far in this tournament, which is not something that you typically see in high level soccer. Normally it's well worked goals, headers from crosses or set pieces, but 11 of 34 from outside the box is not something I had in my dance card.
No, definitely not. My Georgia team, I still believe in them. I thought they played well.
They did.
But it just looked like, again, they looked like a team not high ranked, not as skilled as the other team, but just trying to play very offensively. Mm-hmm. Like when we get the ball, let's just turn and let's try to do something because it's our first time. We're all excited. So I feel like they could have done more, probably played a little bit more cohesively, but I don't know. Turkey deserved the win, especially there at the end. I mean, again, insult to injury with a 90+7.
Yeah.
When there wasn't even a goalie. So
yeah,
kudos to them. But yeah, Georgia, you did me wrong.
Too bad for Georgia. And then 2-1, we both got right, although it did not look like we would for a very long time. Portugal beats Czechia 2-1. That does not tell the tale of the tape because, well, it was 0-0 going into the 62nd minute when Czechia finally scored. But they looked pretty good going up until that point. Then Portugal answers back with a goal in the an own goal that they forced in the 69th. And then 90+2, Francisco Conceição gets his goal in the 90+2 to put Portugal up for good. And get 3 points off of these the Czech team.
Yeah, really good match from Portugal overall. They didn't execute, but like we talked about in the predictions episode, I think that it's the first game jitters. They're gonna want to execute in this second one, and they've still looked good, even though it's 2-1.
Yeah. They forced Czechia into 7 saves, whereas Portugal didn't have any saves. They just gave up a goal. So I mean, that's speaking well of your organization already.
Yeah, so we'll see what it looks like going forward. But Czechia, I feel like they were happy to be in it. They didn't have a ton of possession. Their only goal is their only shot on target. I think Portugal has the stuff to be better, but again, it's the Euros. You don't have to be better than the other team. You just got to get points.
Yeah. Yeah, and that brings us to the end of the match day 1 action. We'll be back here a little bit later this week with our predictions for Copa America, which is also going to start happening soon. There's so much to talk about, guys. But until we get over there, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you, oh dear, on the other side.